this next woman that is going to be speaking today, she is monumental. So I looked up to her so much, it's unbelievable. She is, a trans activist. She is a person that she's written a book. She owns a company called Transformational Journeys. And more than anything, I am so proud to say that there's my heart. I love her. So let me introduce to you Miss Gabrielle Claiborne, and take it over, baby. It's all you.
Thank you, Marcy. And oh my goodness, thank you for kicking the conversation off today. I just have to say, I'm so honored and so blessed and so grateful for your visibility, because me and so many others stand on your shoulders and other folks' shoulders who came before us, who were advocating for the rights of LGBTQ plus people when we didn't even know that aspect of who we are. So I wanted to thank you for being visible. Thank you for being my friend. And for those of you who do not know Marcy and I, when we take photos together, she's down here and I'm up here. And I actually love, how she shows up, because even though she's down here, she's up here in stature and how she shows up in this world. So Marcy, thank you so much. I'm so excited about being with you all here today. As you heard in Marcy's brief introduction, my name is Gabrielle Claiborne and my pronouns are she, her. I am co-founder and CEO, as you heard from Marcy's introduction, of Transformation Journeys Worldwide. We're an inclusion training consulting firm with a trans and non-binary focus. We help a myriad of organizations, global organizations, create cultures of belonging for trans and non-binary folks. Some of my clients include Home Depot, Bank of America, Royal Bank of Canada, and Mercedes-Benz. I can go on and on and on. So I'm just so grateful to be in this space with you all here today. In addition to my day job, I'm also a white, straight, transgender woman who is a single parent, a grandparent, and I don't want to see anybody doing math in your head, a daughter, a sibling, a friend, an entrepreneur, a TEDx and keynote speaker, a published author, a mentor, an activist, just to name a few. Now, I share these intersections with you because it highlights how I show up in this world. And if I ask each of you to do the same, I'm sure that we would get as many answers as there are a different number of people attending this session. You see, each of us bring our unique and beautiful and magnificent respective gifts, talents, expertise, and passion to how we show up every day. And as you heard in Marcy's opening comments, it's important for us to be visible and show up, because when we do this, we're giving other people permission to say yes to their yes. So with this, I'd like to ask each of you a question. If you can respond to the question here on the screen. If you can indicate your gender, we just kind of wanted to understand who's in the room today. So take a moment and do that. Whatever intersections you embody, one of the things I like about this masterclass is that it's intended to help each of us show up as an even better version of ourselves, to set each of us up for success, whether that be in our relationships, in our workplace, in our spiritual community, or even just showing up every day in our world. I will never forget that pivotal moment in my own life when I tapped into how to be the best version of myself. This was in the early years of my transition, and I made the decision to see a life coach, because as I came out as a transgender woman 14 years ago, I was very purposeful and very intentional in trying to find what was mine to do. What is my purpose for living? And quite honestly, I've always been this person of wanting to know what is mine to do, what kind of legacy is mine to leave. And it was at that time I saw a life coach, and inevitably every month, and I saw this life coach for a year, and every month that I showed up at a session with my life coach, inevitably something had come up in my life that required us, she and I, to unpack it. And over the course of the next 12 months, this life coach taught me how to get out of here and into here. You see, for much of my life, I lived in a place of fear, worrying about what people would think. Can I even be visible as my authentic self? And she strategically and quietly and gracefully allowed me to grapple with, moving from living my life from here to here. She taught me how to live from my heart. She taught me that I could actually trust in what my heart is telling me. Our hearts speak to us in 5 different languages, and it's important for us as LGBT plus people, as allies, as human beings, to listen to our heart, because our heart is calling us to the best version of ourselves. So after 12 months of seeing this life coach, on our 1-year anniversary, she says, we're going to do something a little different today, Gabrielle. We're going to reflect back over all that you have been able to navigate over the last 12 months since we've been seeing each other. So she says, I want you to share with me some of the successes, some of the progress that you feel like you've made in your life. And I began to, share with her that I've been more active in community activism, that I was beginning to reconcile relationships with my family, which was very important for me. I was beginning to find a spiritual community that would actually welcome and embrace me as my authentic self. I was beginning to understand how I could exist as a transgender woman in our trans unwelcoming world and have a business that could support me, that I could not only thrive or survive, but I could flourish and thrive. And after I was sharing all of these insights and awarenesses and progress with her, she says, Gabrielle, do you not realize what's happened in your life? And I said, what? She says, the more authentic that you have become, you have found what is yours to do. You have opportunities have opened up to you. You are stepping in new spaces of showing up courageously, vulnerably, without allowing others' expectations to have to control how you show up. And she says, by you being authentic, Gabrielle, you've actually found what is yours to do. And when she shared that with me, it hit me. All my life, I had been wanting to find my purpose in life. All my life, I had been wanting to find what is mine to do. And it only came about as a result of living authentically. I realized that finding my purpose, finding what is mine to do, is not something I need to define at all. It found me, and it found me only when I began to live my life authentically. Now more than ever, our world needs example of people who are willing, courageous, and vulnerable enough to live their lives authentically. Examples of what healthy, wealthy, and fabulous people look like. People who are purposeful, people who are very interested in making a difference in this world, leaving a legacy. I mean, my goodness, we as LGBTQ plus people need to know what that looks like for each of us, because we live in a world, let's be honest with ourselves, that believes that we are second-class citizens at best. I mean, just look at the rhetoric that's sweeping across our country, even across the globe, in the form of all this anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. Did you know that this year alone, and we're just in the 3rd month of the year, there are at least 478 pieces of LGBTQ plus legislation. And just so you all know, the lion's share of this legislation is targeting the transgender community, especially trans youth. Now, to give you some context of where we are in the third month of 2024, all of last year, there was a total of 503 anti-LGBTQ plus pieces of legislation. So I hope you understand where that gives you some context of where we are. We're only 3 months in, and we're almost surpassed the total number of all last year. In fact, the number that we are at today is 3 times the number as it was this time last year. Now, I wish that I could tell you that it's not going to last. Things are probably going to get worse before they get better. But there's a silver lining in all of this, because we are resilient people. As LGBTQ plus people, we have had to do our own work just to come out, just to be authentic, just to show up in this world every day, however that is, whether it's at the bank, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's the job place, whether it's in your spiritual community. We have had to face challenges at every level, at every turn in our life with our families, okay? But through this, we have realized the value of what it means to be authentic. Because for some of us, me included, I didn't come out until I was 50 years old. I lived half of my life, hopefully, inauthentic, all right? And so now that I'm, finally experiencing what it is to be my authentic self, 14 years into this journey, I'm now realizing the power that authenticity has on my life and the people around me. I'll never forget coming out to my youngest daughter, Samantha. And after I came out to her, she spent the next couple of years getting to know her real parent, the real me. And one evening when we were out to dinner, she was telling me what she was experiencing as a result of getting to know me. She says, you know what? My kids call me Da because they could not say Dad when they were little. So she said, Da, you are actually a better parent now as your authentic self. Well, when I heard her say this, I was blown away. I realized the power and the impact that living authentically was having on me. But I didn't know and realize the impact that me living authentically was having on her. You see, by me living authentically, I was now not only being a better parent to her, but I was also being an invitation to her of what authenticity can look like for her, whatever that was. Years ago, I was asked, if I could tell my pre-coming out self one thing, what would it be? And I came up with this: the pain that we may experience or the risk of losing everything pales in comparison to denying the truth of who we were meant to be. We are all called to be the best version of ourselves, whatever that looks like for you. And the reason that each of you are here today, I want to believe, is because you want to be that which you see yourselves becoming. You want to rewrite the ending of your story. You want to own your destiny. You want to know that when you get to the end of your journey, that you can look back and say, I did all I could do. As Alan Cohen tells us, when your intention is clear, so is the way. So I want to invite you, all of you here today, to consider, what is your intention in being in this class for the next 2 days? I believe setting the intention is going to set yourself up for success, and you are going to get out of this master class what you are intended to get out and what you need. So what is your intention in attending this fabulous LGBTQ plus masterclass? Is it to be a better partner, a better parent, a better employee, a better entrepreneur, to become healthier, wealthier, and emotionally, physically, and spiritually healthy? I'd like for you to think about that moment. And if you're comfortable enough, I'd love to see some of your intentions in the chat. Take a moment and do that. And y'all, this is a safe space. So we want to really to invite you to lean into this with us, okay? I often share with clients that I work with, what you get out of a session like today and tomorrow is what you're willing to invest in it. So hopefully you all have had a chance to spend some time and jot down your intention. I want you to hold that intention close and dear to you for the next couple of days, because that intention is going to set you up for success for what is yet to come from all the fabulous speakers that you will be hearing. In closing, I want to let you know that I believe in you, in all of your magnificence, that you can achieve all of your dreams. All you have to do is take that first step in the direction of your yes. And today is one of those steps for each of you. And before you know it, you'll be able to look back on all the steps that you've taken in your journey and say, wow, look how far I've come. It will be then that you will know what it truly means to be healthy, wealthy, and fabulous.